everyone. So today, I am going to be recording. Sorry, long day today. I'm going to be talking about Ted Lasso, and for anyone who does not know about Ted Lasso, it's basically a series where this football coach, American football coach, gets hired for soccer essentially, or this like British football team, and so he doesn't realize it's soccer. He thinks it's American football, so he joins. And when he realizes it's not American football and it's British football or it's soccer, then he just he's completely like, what am I doing? Because he's not a soccer coach, he's a football coach, or an American football coach, so he doesn't know the game, and he's just very clueless to everything. And the whole reason why he was even hired was because the one that was the boss for this team inherited her ex-husband's team, and he cheated on her, and she was really, really petty about it. I mean, understandable, right? And she decides to sabotage her ex-husband's team and hires this newbie. And the whole reason for him to even go to London, to go to England, was because his marriage wasn't super, Ted Lasso wasn't super sturdy, and it was just a lot of, just was kind of at its breaking point basically, and he felt like he needed to give his wife some space, so he left the country. And so through this whole show he kind of learns, that he really loves the sport, and that he can make an influence even if he is not even in his own home country. And the reason why I say that is that he is not a good soccer coach, but he's a great coach in general, and he gives really, really good advice and really just very good motivation to this team that's basically gets last place each time they play. And so, as the name says, it's about Ted Lasso. And it's not only about him, it's about everyone in the show, but specifically about Ted Lasso. He is definitely one of those characters where you just want to root for and you want the best for, because his whole character is that he's very, very positive. And even if somebody tries to make him feel bad or tries to be mean to him, he will still forgive them and accept them as who they are. And I think that is such a great trait to have, and such a great thing to have, because I feel like a lot of people, we don't like somebody, or we don't like someone, especially me, we can't respect them, right? We can't accept them who we are. But with him, he's kind of teaching that even if someone did you wrong, even if someone didn't do good to you, it's still better to forgive, and it's still better to move on and not have any wrongs. And that's what I really like about this character. And I mean, through the series we do also figure out, he has also panic attacks, and he also has his own stresses because of how positive he is, and that, it is better being realistically positive than optimistically positive. And what I mean by that is that he because he's so positive, he takes it to the extreme where he doesn't see on himself how he feels, and also just kind of how that he needs to also, help himself. He needs to look among himself, because he's one of those people that he always thinks about other people. He always helps everyone around him, but he doesn't necessarily help himself. And kind of shows that, if you've watched the series, that through the series he actually needs to take therapy. And the whole reason why he doesn't want to take therapy is because, believe it or not, his wife, that whenever they broke up, so they did eventually divorced, her new husband was his old marriage counselor. And so for him, that was just such knife to the heart, because a person that you trust and a person that you value your personal time and your time to make you heal, almost in a way backstabs you, because he goes and marries your ex-wife, right? So he definitely has a lot of trauma from therapy himself, and he has a lot of trauma of opening his emotions up. And so because of that, he really just can't really, in a lot of ways, he can't really what's a good word? He can't really open up, because he was just backstabbed so much in his personal life that he feels like he needs to guard what he has left. And I think that's the thing about overly positive people and people who are extremely positive, is that to learn how to share what you feel like you want to share, open up to people, especially the people that you feel closest to, but also still be able to, be positive. It's I think the tricky thing, especially about this society, is that either people are overly depressed or overly negative, or people are overly positive. It's we need to find a middle, because being human is hard. Being a person is hard. Being a person in the society is tricky. So to have a positive outlook on that, but still also have a realistic outlook on it, is the hardest thing as any human being in any society, especially in our society. Because, we need to take time for ourselves, but of course we need to pay attention to the people we love, right? To the people that we want to put our energy to. And so that's really kind of the whole premise, and I think the whole story arc with Ted Lasso, and the whole thing about this show is showing that, no one's good and no one is bad, but just figuring out how to figure those gray emotions is really, with anybody, but especially with Ted Lasso, is really what helps them to grow and be better. I think the most important part to being a human and to be a person is compassion, is being confident in yourself and confident in other people. And I think with Ted Lasso, he definitely, is very, if you've watched the show, or if you haven't watched the show, he's very much compassionate, and he really does care about other people. And I mean, obviously he cares about himself, but he does not care enough to where he doesn't feel strong in himself. And especially as, I'm not a guy myself, but especially as a man, to not be powerful in your own self and to not have a will to fight is not good, because it doesn't, because you think about it, as a man and as a person who is a little more, how you should say, respected in society, if you don't feel respected in yourself, then how do you feel respected to the world, you know? Like, as a guy, you know, for a lot of guys, this is just from a female perspective, but for a lot of guys, it's really about being protective of other people, being assertive, and being compassionate, you know. And that's the same thing with women, you know, women, compassion, of course, and finding that inner beauty and that kind of angelic self, if you will, you know. And I think, especially lately, I've really been kind of in conversation lately, and I think, you know, for a person who is masculine or who wants to be masculine, really finding that inner strength and finding that assertiveness in yourself to be the person who you are. And I think that was really lacking in Ted Lasso, is that even though he is a great coach, even though he's not great at soccer, he's still a great coach. He gives great advice, but he doesn't give good advice for himself. You know, he wants to help everyone else, but he doesn't think about himself. And I think for a lot of people, that's very normal and very like hypocritical. But I think that's kind of the point to it, is to understand, like, you know, how you can find that inner strength and that innerness. I don't know what's a good word for it. Innerness to strive what you want, you know. So yeah, Ted Lasso is such a great show. If you guys have not watched it, definitely watch it. All 3 seasons came out, so that's why I was able to record this, because I like to kind of at least watch a couple of seasons, or at least watch the whole show, just so I can kind of understand how the characters are thinking, what the characters are thinking, and really just getting inside of their head, so I can, you know, make a very thoughtful analysis and just kind of see like what the show's about, you know, because with any show, it all comes down to the characters, right? It all comes down to the stories that the characters share. And throughout this whole show, it was really just, you know, being real with yourself and real with everyone else, and accepting that part of yourself and developing that part. Because I think, you know, and kind of, I can't remember who said this. Well, I think it was Leslie. I think Leslie, he's a great character. I love Leslie. But Leslie said it very well, where changing yourself and becoming a better person, it's not about necessarily growing. It's more about seeing who you are as a person, admitting that side of you, and growing with that, developing that, making it into a defined gem, as in Hunter x Hunter. If you guys haven't watched Hunter x Hunter, there's a character, and she really loves to talk about gems, and that's just kind of, in my opinion, especially through this whole show, and kind of the message of the show is to find that inner gem in yourself and define it and evolve it. Because, you know, from day one, since we're babies, we already have the personality that we'll have as adults, that we have as people. It's just more about self-analyzing and seeing if we really want to keep going like that, or if we want to change what's in ourselves. So yeah, this is, like with every video of mine, it's very deep, but I think it's good to talk about this type of stuff, because, you know, as people, we have moments of weakness, and especially with me, like this week and this couple of weeks, I've just been living with this person in my family that I just cannot relate at all. And so to just kind of being able to, like, okay, I need to think about things calmly. I need to think about things logically and not go all fume all the time. Because I definitely notice I do that, and just really just accepting and just letting karma take its place, essentially. And just trying to adapt. And if that person doesn't want to adapt, then at least I can adapt. And to be honest, if I can adapt, then that's the best thing I can do. That's personally, if I can't respect someone else, then at least I'm respecting myself. That's really what you can do, is respect yourself and respect your judgment. So, yeah. Okay. I hope you like it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Love the show. Bye.